So we are here today to discuss, talk about how the pandemic affected their work and how they're dealt with it, how they're adapted to the situation.
When you're making a film, the context, and clearly this is what happened, literally could crush your mise en scène intentions. You've got to bear in mind that reality, the world we live in today is so bloody, inconceivable, and because we're walking on our heads, I think. Every day passing by, I think we're walking even more on our heads, everywhere. And so now making films, making a documentary implies the fact that your mind has to be perfectly adaptable, flexible to the context.
The type of films that I'm making, when you're following long-term someone's life or a life situation, you always have to be prepared in many unexpected circumstances, and many of my films, things happen that I could never imagine before, that I had to adapt. So of course this was more on it affected us globally, but somehow that is the nature of documentary filmmaking, to
to be ready to change.
Yes, to be ready to always rethink, reconceptualize, reschedule, adapt to the needs of the protagonist, think about your ethics. I think that is the core of this profession.
I think it's just a big wake-up call, and everybody will survive it, and I hope your families, everybody's fine. It's a wake-up call for humanity, I think, the coronavirus, the pandemic, and we as journalists, as documentary filmmakers, we have to go on and to make our job, to do our fucking job, let's say, and to be aware of that life is vulnerable, it's fragile, and it can end soon.
Sie haben extra die Taliban-Fahne gehisst. Diese Kämpfer sind seit einigen Tagen in der Region. Überall in Afghanistan gewinnt die fundamentalistische Guerilla wieder an Einfluss und verübt viele Anschläge.
And these two girls were filming several reports for us in the Taliban region to show us what's going on in Afghanistan. We think it's important to do stories like these, because if you want to understand what's going on in the world today, you have to look behind the curtains.
You don't make films to make films, to please yourself. We're not narcissistic here. We want to make films because we think it's important that the world sees this film and connect with it, and connect to it.
As a documentary filmer, your budget is bigger and you have more time to film. And journalists have to be quicker because things change very much. And a report, a reportage, what we call it, a reportage is a lot of preparation, but a lot of improvisation too, because you're following something which is developing itself in front of the camera.
If you want to tell this story, it's because it's close to your heart or it's close to your mind and you want to say it. And so the important thing is really pick up the pen and start writing. Honestly, this is the first advice I will give you.
If you're a journalist or a documentary filmmaker, you have to try to be as honest as possible and try to come as close as possible to what's really going on. And the most interesting thing is to show the contradictions. Reality is always contradictional, so you have to be very careful how you inform yourself and what you're showing the public.
when you interview people, they don't realize, but it's like a psychoanalysis, you know. They go deep into their thoughts. And in order to get a good interview, you have to let people speak.
We look what was going on. So during the shooting, we made our contacts and we just tried to cover what's going on. Tried to film both sides, the orange side and the blue side at that time.
Your personal story is an interesting voice.